Hi, my name is Deatra Bear. I'm a nursing student. I volunteer for the Ehlers-Danlos Society, the Dysautonomia International, and a couple other small rare disease organizations. I also make care packages for others with chronic illness that are having a hard time. I myself have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hypermobile type, POTS, gastroparesis, chronic kidney disease, thyroid issues, and lupus. At first we thought the lupus was a misdiagnosis, but all the tests and doctors are pointing to it to be a comorbid condition to my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. As long as I can remember, my mom always had symptoms. She always had red blotchy legs when she stood, bloating, bowel issues, nausea, hernias, dislocating her hip. So anytime that I would say a symptom growing up, she would say, "It's okay, I get it too." So for me, it started to get worse in high school when I was 15. That's when I was going through puberty. My shoulders would dislocate a lot. So I went to PT for 12 weeks and we kind of just left it at that. We didn't really look into it. When I was 17, almost 18, I began to faint often in the shower, just sitting from standing. I developed an allergy to the sun, thyroid issues, nausea, vomiting, the whole laundry list. The very first time that I went to the doctor for the thyroid issues and everything, I thought that I was gonna just be diagnosed with the flu and get a medication and just be on with my life. But they did the blood work and it turns out that I was hypothyroid. So he gave me a synthetic thyroid hormone and said, "You're good to go, you're gonna feel better." Okay, so we went on a staycation in my hometown and I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack the entire time, and we decided to turn back and just head over to the emergency room in my hometown because we knew all the doctors there. And they did my blood work. And it turns out that I was both hyper and hypothyroid, and it was caused by a pituitary problem. So there was no reason for me to be taking the thyroid, synthetic thyroid hormone. So after that, they were like, "Well, this is kind of weird. No 17, almost 18-year-old should be having pituitary problems. So let's look further into it." And also that didn't explain my sun allergy and all the other issues that I was having. So it kind of just snowballed after that. It was diagnosed with lupus and then POTS and gastroparesis and the whole laundry list of diseases that EDS comes with. And we decided to do lupus treatment for my lupus, or what we thought was causing all of this, my lupus. And so it just seemed to get worse and not better. I ended up having to get a feeding tube for my gastroparesis, and they just were stumped. They had no idea why my lupus was so bad, but the medication wasn't doing anything. So at my rheumatologist visit, I asked her if dislocating is common with lupus because I've done it my entire life and it was getting worse. And so she said right there in office, "That is not normal. That's not common with lupus. You should not be dislocating." And so she said that, "I think you might have a connective tissue disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome." It was kind of the aha moment, and it made so much sense. So she did the Bateman score in office, and I scored an 8 out of 9. And so she referred me right to a geneticist. It was a 2-year-long waiting list, but after the 2 years, I was finally diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and so was my mom. Kind of unofficially, she has to make her own visit with him. And so I always wonder if Ehlers-Danlos syndrome was more known if I would have been diagnosed long ago and my mom would have been diagnosed long ago, and I wouldn't have had to have a feeding tube because we would have gotten it under control. And I always just wonder what I can do as a nursing student to help raise more awareness, and just as a person with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome in general. But how I handle my EDS. So before, it used to be really bad. I wasn't able to handle it at all. I was bedbound. I was having a feeding tube. I was in a wheelchair and walker at one point. And after my feeding tube and after we got some hydration in me for my POTS, and everything was just getting better after that. So now day to day, it's just depends on how hard I push myself, or if I have a dislocation that day, have I taken my medicines. So I'm kind of living a normal life now, just depending on if I'm taking my medications and everything like that. So it does get better. And the things I do at home to manage my EDS is like Epsom salt baths and hypervolt massager, and just relaxing in bed. Having chronically ill friends that understand what it's like to have an illness is really nice too. And just letting people know that I'm having a really hard day today and I need to relax and I need to take it slower, or today's really good and I can do more and I could do more things with you guys, and just managing it by talking to people and taking your medications and listening to your doctors, or if your doctors aren't understanding, advocating for yourself, and just living life with what you have and what's going to be easy for you, like making college accommodations and stuff like that.